Welcome to the Brad and Taylor Show. Today we have Trevor Methena.
You're listening to The Brad and Taylor Show, a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to pursue their passions. We're sitting down with some of the best to learn how they got started and some lessons they learned along the way.
Hey, Trevor.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We're good. How are you doing?
Very good.
Awesome. Well, let's get this show started. Tell us a little bit about you. What do you do?
Sure. So kind of have a typical story you hear often. W-2 job in technology. Decided to move into real estate investing. I currently invest out of state in Ohio, and I live in Texas, and have about 6 long-term rental properties currently.
Nice. Okay. That's awesome.
What kind of brought you to investing in Ohio rather than Texas? Because you said you're in Texas currently, right?
Sure. So Texas market, I'm in the Austin market in Central Texas, and it is extremely hot. Lots of money flying around for single family properties and things of that nature. There is just no meat on the bone for cash flow, which is a big part of my kind of phase one plan here to get things off the ground. So additionally, my dad, he grew up in the Toledo area, and he lives up there now. So he's kind of my ringer. He helps out with a lot of things, does a lot of walkthroughs, does a lot of help with tenant calls and maintenance and things of that nature. So
yeah, that's nice that you have someone there. Yeah, definitely. When you were growing up, did you know that you wanted to get into investing when you were older?
No way, not even a little bit. I had no one in my family that did real estate investing.
Okay.
Up until my wife, when I met my wife, I was stationed in San Diego, California, and her dad had purchased a few condos, and I didn't even ask a lot of questions, but all my assumption was you had to have cash to do so. You could only have one mortgage. I had no clue. So I was like, no way this ever happens. And then eventually, understanding that I don't always want to have a W-2 job, I want to start to be able to wake up in the morning and go, should today be the day I resign? You know, having that option, I realized I needed to figure something out. Started talking to some friends, throwing ideas around. Austin, Texas, so we had this huge startup tech firm industry, you know, all that good stuff, but I had no clue. I had no idea of an app to develop or anything like that, or the skills to do so. So a friend of mine said, well, what about real estate investing? I go, I don't have that money. He goes, but you have like a job and you have credit and you can get mortgages. I was like, no, you can. He's like, oh, yes, you can. So down the rabbit hole I went with my research from that point on.
Nice.
What was the turning point for you? We're like, yep, I'm gonna jump all into this. We're gonna start this and we're gonna go for it.
So I did buy one turnkey, like a new build here in Austin area, 20% down, like a regular, conventional everything. And I said, if I can do, I'll run through the steps, and if everything starts to go smoothly, then I'm going all in. And then I started hearing a lot as I researched. A lot of it had to hear about your competitive advantage or your unfair advantage is what they like to call it. So I thought about, well, there are a lot of Midwest markets. My dad lives in one. Let's do the research. And as soon as all those pieces kind of came together, my wife had also seen that things were going well. We were all in. So we're
That's awesome.
All in, still charging, trying to get to that magic number of covering all our expenses with cash flow.
And I know you mentioned that Ohio market area was your phase one, right? So when you get to phase two, do you plan on branching out elsewhere, or do you want to stay in that Midwest area?
No, definitely looking to branch from that point on. Mm-hmm. A lot of things I've been kind of looking at YouTube University wise, research wise, everything. I'm sold on short-term rentals. So looking into vacation markets and things of that nature. I may even be able to break into the Texas coast at that point, or some of the areas out here in the hill country of Texas.
Yeah, that'll be exciting once you get to that point. I know you're on your way, so it won't be long.
I hope so. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Did you get any advice when you first started out in investing that maybe just stuck with you, or maybe bad advice that you didn't take?
Well, my own advice was to, you have to have all the cash to buy
Yeah.
rental
Yeah.
properties and buy
Yeah.
real estate, and so I quickly got that turned around. I kept latching on. I kept hearing the pattern of, there's only so much research you can do. The best thing to do is get started, and that's exactly why we went low risk. We hit a new build in a market we knew would get filled quickly. We just got moving, and as soon as we realized we still have a roof over our heads, we can still feed ourselves, all that good stuff, I said, okay, now it's time to turn it up and continually try and incrementally get a little faster, get a little more efficient, things like that.
I know we talked a little bit about your phase 2 plan of action. What are your goals finishing out this year and then going into next year? When do you plan on, or when do you hope to get that phase 2 in action?
Sure. So most of the properties I've purchased in Ohio are, they need a little work to them, of course. So now that we're getting into the cold months, for the rest of this year, I will try and get maybe one or two completely, especially on the exterior, turnkey investments. If I can get two more, I know there's the demand is there to get renters in quickly. But for the rest of this year, I'm looking to get maybe two more that don't need any work on the outside, so that I'm not freezing out my GCs and making them mad.
Yep.
2022, we have some work to do. I want that magic number of our expenses covered by the end of 2022.
Okay.
So
nice.
With all projections, currently, if the market kind of stays the same, prices stay the same, demand stays the same, we would be looking at that magic number being 15 total properties in total single families in Northwest Ohio.
Okay.
Nice. That's awesome.
Nice.
And you're at, I think you said 6 now?
So 6, including one in Texas. So we're looking
Nice.
at
So
5 in Toledo right now.
Nice. That's awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's so exciting. I know when you talked about kind of going into like the rental area for vacation spots. What's one spot that you really, really, really want to get into?
Oh, that's a good question.
What's the number one vacation spot? Maybe it's somewhere that you would even want to go. You're like, I'm going to get this because I'm going to vacation there.
That's definitely. So if we're talking full dreams, I've driven past Lake Tahoe once in my life.
Oh,
and
yes.
It's probably one of the most beautiful areas in the entire country. That would be the pipe dream right there. Short-term rental in Lake Tahoe. That'd be great.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
That would be awesome. That way you could just be like, oh, that weekend's booked. We're going for a weekend. Do you have any business books that you have read that you could recommend to anybody maybe starting to get into investing?
Sure. So the big one that helped me do all the self-management, that journey. So I guess back up just real quick is I do self-manage the property. So I use software, and I do have a kind of a remote maintenance service. But I also am able to set my first tier contractors and handymen. So my dad is the first call.
Okay.
They call, but that does eliminate that does put a little bit of a gap between myself and the tenant. So they call the maintenance line. Their first call is my dad. If he can't do it, then they'll call their network of handymen and handywomen to take care of whatever the issue is.
Okay.
And so I have that part under control. And then the other part is also just myself handling all the leasing and any questions related to rent payments and things of that nature. So the book of Managing Rental Properties by Brandon Turner is one of the bigger pockets books. That book, reading it made me feel extremely comfortable in doing that and having that be my plan instead of putting everything under property management.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that reading it cover to cover, it lies out the exact steps that happen, and the way it made it so much sense, and it made it to be easily made into a process. So that first time I actually ran into an issue, I felt no kind of twinge of anxiety because I knew exactly what to do because of that book.
Yeah, and did you start that right away, or did you have a property management team or company first and then kind of switch over to you doing it? Or did you immediately just go in and you started it?
I immediately started
Okay.
day one. So
Yeah. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I've got more questions for you off air.
okay, sure.
I like it. How can people get a hold of you?
I guess most of the investment stuff I talk about or anything like that would be under Instagram. So it's Trevor Methena _REI or _Eleni under on Instagram as well. Otherwise, you can just reach out, email Trevor@eleni.com. That's ELLINY.
Awesome. I like it. Hey, thanks for coming on and sharing your story with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brad.
Are these working? Here we go.
Oh, there we go. I think they're working. Should we tell them?
Mine keeps falling. It doesn't like my voice.
What do we got to tell them?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. What do we got to point at? Hey, I think there's a subscription button. Like
It might be there.
might be right there too.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Find it. It's red.
Yeah. And it's
Red.
blue. It's green. I don't really know.
It's a color.
This mic isn't even attached. Did you plug these in? Well, I guess.
I wonder if they can hear us.
Yeah. I wonder if they hear us. Well, we should probably tell them if they can hear us. We should probably tell them also give us a 5-star review if they're listening on Apple. That'd be cool.
5
5-star
stars,
review.
guys.
Share it with everybody they can think of.
We won't take
But-
4 stars.
I mean, Taylor, I don't even think these are on. I mean,
No, I don't think this is working.
This is not working.
Yeah.